Good morning, everyone. My name is Clive Bourke from Dayon. I'm president of EMEA in Asia. What we do is customer onboarding, customer authentication, and I lead the EMEA in Asia business and strategic initiatives across the business. And I'm here with Philippe Serres from G&D. Philippe?
Yes, absolutely. And hello, good morning, good afternoon. My name is Philippe Serres. I'm the Chief Sales Officer of the ePayment division of G&D.
Great. Philippe, it's great to be here talking to you, part of the partnership. We have a lot to cover, but actually, first thing I wanted to ask about was, we've seen a lot here at this conference and in other places we talk about this idea of convergence and also things changing and fraud shifting across channels and the need to be able to deal with customers across different channels, and also AI coming into the picture and how do we deal with those threats and how do we be consistent. So what's your thoughts on that, Philippe?
Yeah, so what we've been seeing over the past months recently has been a convergence, a double convergence actually. The first one is a convergence between payments and identities. So those two were kind of like separate and now are getting together and merging together. And they're merging together across two dimensions. The first one is at the KYC level to initially onboard and know a customer. And the second one, which we're seeing now with also some regulation, is at the authentication level, meaning that every time you do a payment, you need to authenticate yourself through an identity. So that's the first level of convergence we've been seeing. The second level of convergence we are seeing is a merge between the physical and the digital world, where today you have the ability to onboard people physically within a branch, and you need to have the tools that enable you to ensure that that person that you have is not a fraud. And in the same time, you need to also to be able to onboard people digitally, meaning the ability to, for example, take a passport, with a biometric chip into there, through NFC technology, be able to authenticate the person that you are having within the onboarding.
Okay, great. So it's the combination of like the Dayon and G&D technology that's allowing this to happen or enabling this. But what you're trying to say is that someone could onboard in one channel and complete in another, and vice versa, is that right?
That's exactly what we're seeing, and our objective is to ensure that the bank can onboard as many as good customers as possible. And in order to do that, you need to offer the possibility to somebody to, as you said, onboard somebody first digital and then potentially physically, or the opposite, start with a physical onboarding and then move to the digital. And it should be seamless for the customer and for the bank. Whatever channels you use, you need to be onboarding the right customers to increase your revenue.
So basically you're saying it's also about conversion then, so you can convert more customers through the process of registering new customers through the KYC process.
Absolutely.
But I guess you're also saying that you're getting closer to that consistency across channel from a security perspective in the know your customer process as well.
Absolutely, and you fully nailed it. I think it's absolutely around the ability to be consistent across those two worlds that initially were separate and that are now converging. All right, so Clive, we've been talking a lot about EU ID wallets. There's been a lot of buzz around this. We know there's a regulation that is coming into place. Whenever I travel overseas, a lot of other countries and people are asking me about this regulation and what is going to be the impact of that. We know that by end of 2027, banks will need to be ready, right? Could you maybe elaborate a little bit on what is the implication for the bank and what are the consequences of this new regulation?
Yeah, to be ready shouldn't be understated. So as you said, there's global eyes on Europe because of the EU digital legislation, which is amazing because it's going to bring this concept to all EU citizens. So every member state, the governments have to issue a wallet to a citizen. What does that mean? It means that a citizen will have an app on their phone issued by the government, and within that app, there'll be credentials. But the first one will be a personal credential that you can use as an alternative to an ID card or passport, and then you can use that to assert your identity when you're engaging with anybody. So whether it's a bank or a fintech, you can now use that EU digital wallet in the future to onboard in a KYC process. And in the past, where they might have said, show me your passport or EID, now the customer or user can use their EU digital wallet. So by the end of 2027, when you said ready, the banks and fintechs have to be ready to accept the EU digital wallet from people in any of the member states that have them issued by their governments. So that's the first thing. The second thing, which is less known but is definitely coming, is that users should be able to use that wallet to authenticate to their bank accounts. So in the past, you have this thing called strong customer authentication. The bank issues you the credentials and you use those credentials to get onto the banking app and initiate payments, approve payments. With the EU digital wallet, the citizen should be able to use the wallet to authenticate to the bank as well. So that's really what's coming. Now, on a broader level, there are mobile credentials globally in different sectors, but really here, financial services, banks need to get ready.
And what about cross-border then within the Europe? What is the impact on cross-border opening of accounts and transacting?
And that's really the elegance of this, is that every member state will issue an EU digital wallet, and every member state will put a personal credential in that wallet, and therefore you should be able to onboard to a bank in Germany according to EU standards from Ireland or vice versa, right? But of course, while there's common frameworks and standardization, there'll always be work to be done to make sure that we trust the EU wallet, or we trust the Italian wallet, or we trust the Irish wallet, and so on. So Philippe, let's talk about the G&D Day-On partnership. So you're a security tech company of scale. Like, what is the partnership? What are your customers, G&D customers, what can they expect from this partnership between us?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, G&D is a 14,000 people company, 3.3 billion in terms of revenue. We work across 41 countries. And I think one of the specificities of G&D is that we work across different verticals. We work across central bank, we work a lot with central banks, with governments, and with commercial bank. And the fact that we work with so many different verticals, put us into a unique position because we are the cross center between identities, payments, and digital solutions. So, for example, of course, we've been very active into the world of digital payment, whether it's tokenization, passkeys, SRC, and all the solutions that help to bring the payments into the digital world. But we also have found that within our value chain, right, we want to also put emphasis into the KYC component. And when you look at it, many of our clients and customers that come to us as a trusted partner are asking us, whether we can support them in there. And that's where we thought that, the partnership between Day-On and G&D absolutely makes sense. But I would be interested to understand what it means for you from your perspective.
The first thing is G&D is a security tech company, like you just elaborated, which means you've got deep credentials and pedigree in what it means to keep banks secure, to keep fintechs secure, even to keep governments secure. So you understand security really well. But what we're bringing with you to the customers is this concept of orchestration. So the convergence you mentioned earlier across tokenization, payments, identity, physical and digital. So we bring an orchestration platform that can orchestrate from an identity perspective, customer onboarding on multiple channels, like you mentioned, and then ongoing customer authentication across multiple channels for multiple use cases. So we have this orchestration platform that does identity verification, that does continuous trust, that does device signals, and that's something that your customers can avail of. But also it's a two-way partnership. So what you're bringing to us is we're getting the benefit of some of the G&D technology as well to bring to our customers. For example, you're strong in 3D secure and payment confirmations in tokenization, and that's things that we can bring to our customers. And also you're strong from a border control, passport reading capability, and some of those devices and technology that can be used in financial services, like we mentioned earlier, to do in-branch KYC and customer onboarding. So it's really a two-way partnership, right? So you can bring things to your customers and we can bring things to our customers.
Absolutely, and we look forward to that continued and strengthen that partnership across the different regions of the globes, and we have already all the teams across the different regions that have been engaged together on some opportunities, and we look forward to making it as successful as possible.
Amazing.
Thank you very much, Clive. Thank you.
Thank you.